Hi everybody, it's Heather from Heather's Fabulous Dog Training. Today I want to talk to you about socialization, but I want to clear something up. We say socialization for dogs and it means something totally different than what it does for humans, at least in my opinion. So when we think of socialization with people, we think of introducing the dog to every person that we know. That is not socialization. Yes, it is, but it's a small part of it. If you introduce your dog to everybody you know and everybody's dogs, then you can have more problems than good, especially if it's not in a controlled environment. So, when you think of socialization with dogs, I want you to think of the word exposure. Exposure more emphasizes what we are meaning. When we say socialization, exposure, we're meaning in a controlled environment, we're introducing dogs to different objects, different sounds, different humans, different dogs, what else? Different smells, different sights, all of that. So, I see a huge difference in dogs that have gotten exposure than dogs that have not. So we tend to see a lot of reactivity in dogs that have not experienced stuff. Part of this problem is because of fear of sickness. I get it, okay? Vets are now saying, don't expose them, don't take them anywhere until they've had all 3 sets of shots and they're like 16 weeks old. By then, the window of that is starting to close. You want dogs to experience all kinds of stuff before they're 5 months old. And there is ways to take precautions and have this done. So, I would say dog training privately is one option. You got a trainer come to your house, work with them in a very clean environment and a training building. My puppy AKC class, we typically get together and have class in indoors. It's very clean. The dogs have all had, at least 2 sets of shots. That helps. The dogs I see that wait until 6 months or later have a lot more issues. And so there is risk. I'm not going to say there's not. There's still risk of them getting parvo, all of that. But if you know the right trainer that takes precautions like I do, then it's totally different. Now, I wouldn't say take them to the park and take them to the dog park and take them to daycare. Typically, those are not the socialization you want, especially the young dog. You're setting them up for all kinds of failure. Even as an adult, you can. A lot of daycares are run by people that know nothing about canine body language or that don't have the experience that they should. And so fights and all kinds of issues can ensue at that point. There's also something called Puppy's Rule of 12. Look it up. I will share more information about that later. But Puppy Rules of 12 kind of covers all the things that we want dogs to be exposed to before the age of 5 months. I still try to expose older dogs to this stuff. It can't hurt, okay? For example, I encourage people, like they do with the puppy culture curriculum, to expose them to sounds that may later scare them. And you do that by putting those sounds like on your computer, on your phone, in another room away, very low, half an hour every day, whatever, and slowly increase it. So, for example, fireworks, thunder, trains, anything that may startle them. And so we don't just throw our dogs out there and say, woo, here we go. We obviously do a controlled environment when we introduce them to other dogs, other people, all of that. And we want to slowly encourage them. So, for example, my little deaf dog, when he was little, I didn't want him to be scared of anything. I took him and put him on carts, put him on the merry-go-round. I did it in a way that was good, that wouldn't freak him out. And I don't force them. I slowly encourage them to do things to help them socialize, expose them to those things. So it's very important that we do this with our dogs. We're seeing more and more dogs with more problems because people are so scared of all the physical stuff and the disease that we're handicapping them basically, mentally, socially, emotionally, by not exposing them. Having a dog in your house, around your friends and your family, and that's it, and nothing outside of there, or they are exposed to stuff, and then as soon as they freak out, we freak out and be like, oh, no, it's okay, and encourage and positively and reinforce those negative things. It balances back and it causes further problems. For example, the other day I saw a trainer that took his big old dog into the ocean. The dog was apprehensive, and he could tell that, so he went slow and was like, hey, we're having fun, and didn't drag him in there, nothing like that. They slowly went in. They could tell the dog was holding back, and he just made it a party, made it fun, and then the dog was like, oh, it's okay with Dad, it's okay with us. But as humans, we tend to go to overprotect and over-coddle, and then what happens is then the dog's like, oh, this is terrifying, they are uncomfortable, they're anxious, I should be anxious, and they make that into something that's a lifetime thing for them. Dogs live in the moment, but they see in pictures. So if a dog is attacked at the dog park, every time he sees a dog, he sees that picture of him being attacked. And so we have to work through that pictures and recreate new pictures to help him overcome that fear. So that is something to start with socialization. I hope that was helpful. Have a great day. I'll talk to you guys later.